All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier eye hypnosis life healer coach and your personal guide. And of course, a special warm welcome to all of you who are tuning in to our podcast, the Eye Hypnosis Life Coaching Journeys. As you know, especially if you've been here before and you've listened to and watched some of the amazing stories of people who are coaches, people who are healers, and they've already been on this journey. And a lot of them are today at that point in their journey where they really know what it means to go out there, to make a difference, to hold that space for other people. And today, of course, I have a very special guest. In a few moments, you'll understand why I'm saying this because, we all go through different things in our life, but some of us are able to kind of pause, reflect, and literally like reorient ourselves so that we're able to truly step into our power. And today, of course, I have our special guest, Honey. Go ahead. This is, of course, your cue. You can unmute and turn on your camera. And it's really good to have you here. So thank you,
Namaste,
firstly, for
everyone.
being here.
Thank you for having me here, Radha. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, everybody watching us here.
Nice. So, as I said, these podcasts have been created from a much deeper space, right? The idea, of course, as I was sharing with you before we went live, is that today we believe in also having something called parasocial relationships, which means when people are looking for us, they want to know more about us. They want to know how we got here. How did we become these people who they see, right? And I say that because I'm sure there are your followers, there are people who are from your community, people who really truly look up to you. And a lot of times, maybe all that they see in their mind is the avatar that is in front of them. And very often, we've also been on such a long journey that we forget what are those signposts, what are those milestones that
So rightly
got
said.
us here, right?
Right.
So maybe we'll start at the beginning, whether it is for people who are, from your community or people who are meeting you like this on this format or in this format for the first time. Maybe if you could just start by telling us a little bit. So if someone says, "So, honey, what do you do?"
Okay. So I love myself and I teach people to love themselves in simple word
Nice.
and using the power of mirror. So this is a technique that I have developed over the period of time out of all the modalities that I've gone
Right.
through and trained. I kind of felt this is the most powerful, easiest, and impactful, to bring this beautiful shift that when you love yourself. And why self-love I started was because, of course, I'll go to my story when you ask me to, but then for now, what I understood, like how much ever we work on our manifestation, personal development, or our career or any other goals in our life that we have, but we truly do not love ourselves, everything is little empty.
Right.
There is some gap to be filled,
Yeah.
even if you achieve,
Yeah.
but there's something missing, and
Yeah.
that missing is you, it's only you, and
Yeah.
only you can
Yeah.
fill that gap. And
Right.
that's how the period of, I've been into this work or in space since 3 decades or more.
Oof.
And I have been hunting all around. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe this will give me the solution. Maybe this will be okay. Oh, I need to do tarot. I need to do numerology. I need to do Akashic record. Then everything will be fine.
Right.
But what I understood, everything is beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
But without you being into it, without you being the part of it completely,
Yeah.
it's all incomplete.
Amazing. Amazing. I am so tempted to pause you at so many of these places and ask you to say, like, as they say, double click on it, but in time, I'm sure we will get there. Since you mentioned that, this is not a journey of 1 day, 1 month, 1 year. And I say this also because, especially today, in a good way, because of COVID, there are a lot of people that have had that awakening, right? And today, where we are literally in 25, this is like almost like 5 years to the start of a lot of people's awakening. And people have sort of suddenly realized that, okay, I need to heal. And then over a period of time, they realize that, okay, I can feel myself healing. I'm literally getting goosebumps as I'm saying this.
Same.
It's like not just I need to heal, but okay, I'm doing this. you know what, I really want to give this to other people. I want to share this with other people.
Yes.
So there are a lot of people who are today in that, 5, less than 5, less than 4, less than 3, less than 2 kind of a, like a time span where they've started to understand that there's more to them than that title of doctor, engineer, CA, what a banker. These are things that a lot of us have grown up hearing, but today the world has changed in that sense, right? So the purpose of the other reason for this coaching journeys, the podcast to exist, is to give people that hope, especially people who realize that they're coaches and healers inside, that there is a journey, right? So maybe, as they say, that old song, let's start at the very beginning. So maybe if you could take us back as far back as you feel drawn to tell us, is like, where did that journey begin? Because today you speak about self-love. Today you speak about, having found your, it's almost like saying your Brahmastra.
Yeah.
And I say this because I can hear a lot of parallels in my journey of 20 odd years. Today I know that hypnosis is my Brahmastra.
Correct.
Right? And the way that I do it or use it, right? Like for you, I've noticed you always carry that mirror, because it's almost like it's part of your identity, right? But we'll come to that. So I'm curious, and I'm sure people would benefit from hearing, what was that journey that led you to this point?
So I believe we don't have a linear journey. We have a spiral journey, and there's so many dots to connect to get to the point where we are.
Yeah.
So I do not know, are we talking about leading to the mirror magic method, or leading for me to become a coach, or leading for me to come on the online space,
right?
Or where are we? Which journey are we talking? I'm just trying to get it, like, where do I start from? There's so many aspects of our identity.
Absolutely.
So basically, let me introduce whatever comes naturally to me now. Yeah. So basically, how far can I go? Because everything is so connected. If I say this, I said, oh my God, that was also important in this point of view, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So many of my community members and those who follow me know this, but for new people, know that every coach or every healer has her or his journey of a hero journey that we call, and then we have those enemies that we have overcome. And now we want to spread this message to the world, because if we can do it, everybody else can do it. Because so I was the 7th child in the family of 8 children, very humble background of Sindhi. Because Sindhi, when they shifted from India, Pakistan, we had nothing. So my papa kind of, struggled, and I was the 7th child, youngest kind of. And we were born at home, we were not even hospitalized. We were like that. And I got polio at the age of 6 months. Okay. Being a 6th girl child out of 7 with 2 brothers, and having a polio, and I was the shortest, I had developed that low self-esteem or inferiority, or feeling that, why God did you do this me, all those questions. And I was very much people pleaser. People pleaser in the sake of getting some love, like internally. Now as a coach or a healer, I understand what was the thing as the child was going through. That time, of course, I had no idea what was it going through. So internally it was like, I'm not good enough. Who will ever love me or do anything for me? So might as well I do something for them to get little acceptance or little, So there were times I have never said no to anybody in my childhood, okay? And I made me my father, brother. Then it was a patriarchal house, like girls were not allowed to express or ask for something, whatever, In the school also, very sincere child, very hardworking. The boys in the school used to give me the homework, and they used to go out in the recess to play, but I used to be in the classroom because I used to I couldn't play because of my handicap.
Right.
And then I wanted friendship. If I say no, they'll reject me. The fear of rejection was so bad. I mean, so deeply rooted inside me. So all these internal dialogue used to be, I used to write that, that time, oh God, why this? And when I read, and now I've just thrown away everything, but when I started this journey, I was reading every time the dialogue, oh God, this happened. I should just talk to God. I mean, though I had 8 people in my house, siblings, friends, but I never felt comfortable talking about my complexes that I had. So I had this seeking inside me. Why does it happen? So somebody said it's karma because you get what you reap. And I was wondering, when did the 6-month-old baby did a mistake that she has to go through so much? That she can't even walk or play like a normal child. So again, next question, when did this karma happen? Parents were so busy in the survival, just to provide us food and all those things. How will they ever think about all these things? They were like, chup karke badi itna question पूछती है and all that stuff. And then I seeked the books and the philosophical books, spiritual text or psychological books, Though I had taken science and a maths major, but when I used to go to British Council Library, we had a church kid. I used to only pick up biology or medical book. Why this happened? Or maybe psychology or philosophy. But the more I read, the more confused I became. Because there was so much available, but it was not giving me the answer. Like, why am I suffering?
Correct.
So, and the more it said ki you are responsible for whatever is happening, I took it as a teenage or maybe as I was growing up. I took it I'm a bad person because I created this, and I went into more guilt rather than empowering myself that I'm responsible. I just heard it this much. Now I connect. The texts were amazing.
Yeah.
It was not that their mistake. I went to many gurus. I went to like Brahma Gyan. So that ultimate Gyan is, ki aham brahmasmi, the knowledge that it teaches. They also say ki if God had to give you, He would have. But if He has not given you, there is some reason. Maybe we do not know. So no need to ask. It will be always given. So I kind of became very dry. No need to ask, okay, jab duniya mein aaye to rehna hi padega, type, those kind of songs.
Right.
Or, okay, whatever God says. So I felt all the power is only with God and nothing with me. And that's all, how much ever I tried and wherever I went, I could understand only that. So I was aligned to God. I was surrendered to Him. But there was a little, the bubbly teenage girl, which was never bubbly. I'm bubbly now at the age of 15. I'm in my teen. I was like very, very, used to have big specs and used to be like tying my hair and used to be like, I was not good enough. So why should I dress up? All the stuff.
Yeah.
And upar se sab gyan gave me vairagya. Like you're not supposed to be desiring because desires are the root cause of all the problems.
Right.
You don't desire, you don't get unhappy.
Right.
Like, okay, makes sense. But I had those desires
of
feeling love, feeling appreciated, feeling to have things, whatever, But I kind of constrained myself in the cover of this knowledge of the Gyan. Because अगर भगवान को देना तो अमीर घर में पैदा करते, देना होता तो और लंबा खूबसूरत पैदा करते, नहीं देना होता तो तुम चुप करके ज्ञान सुनो, ज्ञान चलाओ. And I was very sincere. I used to write Vanis. We used to call Vanis. I know thousands of bhajans. I used to be, very sincere. So maybe this sincerity will give me something that I want.
Right.
So I like, okay, Bhagwan hi chahiye, but the joy was missing. Honestly, that joy or that aliveness was missing. It was like, बस जीना है, भगवान ने दिया है तो जी लेंगे. जैसा, we surrender and we do. That's how I took it, right? The seeking was still on. The Gyan was amazing. Now, what I do in my courses, I do teach those Gyan, but with the tadka of self-love.
Yes.
That self-love was missing. So I found this, so she's my beautiful icon, Louise Hay. So after all my gurus, I read her book, You Can Heal Your Life, where she said the same thing. We are responsible, but it didn't make me feel guilty. It gave me power. She said, every thought you think is creating your future, and whatever is happening is just a thought, and thought can be changed. You don't have to keep thinking the same thought because you once upon a time you thought about that thing, and I was like, oh God, is it like? Then I felt, oh my God, that was the same Satsang was saying. You have created it.
Right.
So, but they didn't tell me you can create it newly also. They were like, accepted the way it is. But they didn't tell me, or maybe I didn't understand that you can now recreate. Then I followed everything. I went for her trainings. I got the coaching done. I understood. I kept saying I love myself. It was so challenging. Why do I love myself? What big thing have you done? I mean, for me, love needs to be earned. How can you just love unconditionally? Kuch kiya nahi to. But then the coaching that I went through, you are lovable just because you exist. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anything. You are God's creation, and God never creates junk. So love that thing. If you do not love yourself, you're not loving your God. At one point, you say you love your God, you're surrendered, you can do everything for Him, whom you've not even seen, and you're seeing yourself, you're not accepting, you're not loving. I was like, that was like Balbon moment. And that was a missing ingredient. Divine. So I have the 3-point pillars that I keep sharing, because these were the most important things that completed the triangle, the support. First was divine alignment, of course, because that is how I started my journey. A lot of my deep knowingness happened because I went to all these gurus, right? And because I understood that spiritual text, maybe Bhagavad Gita, maybe Ashtavakra Gita, they were like very powerful. But missing was love yourself, accept yourself the way you are. You do not have to do, be, or have anything to be lovable. And that gave me so much freedom.
Nice.
The pressure that I was carrying, that I have to be good, I have to be very good bahu, I have to be very good mother, I have to do I have to be very good wife, and I have to be doing. I was very close in the receptivity. I was not receptive. I was like, only givers are, glorified,
Right.
receptors are not. And like normally people have to be taught that dan karna, but for me giving
Giving
was like so much I was giving, but then from where you get empty, right? So the cycle happens like giving and receiving. Even like Dharti Ma that we say, Mother Earth gives us fruits and everything, but only when she receives seeds, she'll nurture it. If you do not put the seed, she cannot give you anything. The barren land will not give you anything. She wants water to be fertile and all those stuff. Everything in the nature works on the principle or the cycle of giving and receiving. That also took a lot of time for me to understand that I have to be receiving. So I'm open and receptive to all good. Opening my arms in front of the mirror. And the arms used to not get open, The body responses to your belief system, right?
Yeah.
And of course, hypnosis, you will be knowing the best. So these things, when I kind of, worked on my even now there will be some condition for sure, at times when I don't perform well in something, I'm like, okay, and then come my mirror. It's okay, honey, you did your best. I love you. No matter people are there, people said this or that. I love you. I'm there for you. So if you have this connection in the mirror, that I am there for you, because we all want somebody to be there for us no matter what. How much ever our parents love us, or our partner or children, but they do have condition. They have their own programming, they have their own conditioning, and they have their own things their own journey. They might not want to hurt us consciously, but they do, because we expect in a way we want and they do not. And similarly, we must have done it. But here is a person in the mirror who's always there for you. So once I realized whatever I have done, so I'll come back to this. So the theories, you knew what's going to happen, right? So as I was seeking these answers, as I went to gurus, I thought, maybe my birth date is not correct. Maybe my numbers, because I heard, numerology plays a role. So I kind of studied numerology, and then what my specialty is not only to just get it done, I want to master that thing. So I became a numerologist. I kind of changed numbers, but again, if you do not change the way you look at yourself in the mirror, no numbers, no astrology, no I did tarot, Osho tarot card reading, angel card reading, Akashic record, automatic writing, so that okay, maybe this will take me more deeper, and maybe this will get me where I want to be living a joyful, happy life. It's like being unconditionally happy, because I have heard so much about in the scriptures that I read. Akaran, the causeless love, the causeless joy, but not experience, right? So maybe I thought, I know the text. I know that meditation will bring you there, but I never experienced that. Because I was in an attachment. Okay, maybe in this session I will get it. And you know it, right? When you attach to the result, it never happens. And then I was so hard on myself. It's like, I'm not even good at all the spiritual work I'm doing.
Right.
So when we So when when I started doing this mirror work, no matter what, I used to go and talk to myself in the mirror and being there for myself. No matter what, nahi hua, theek hai, I'm there with you, don't worry.
Right.
Automatically, that burden got off my shoulder. I felt lighter. My skin color started changing.
Wow.
I used to wear specs that went off, and my polio leg was thinner than the normal leg. It became same size because I sent a lot
Wow.
of love to my leg.
Amazing.
Of course, there's a little limp, not very, nobody can identify, but the days were there when somebody used to say Langdi or something, it used to like kill me from inside. But now I openly share in the open platform where I don't know how many people are going to watch me. But it doesn't affect me because now I love my leg, my beautiful leg. That's what I keep saying here.
Yeah.
So I do my yoga in front of a mirror. I do my practices in front of a mirror. Like there's my mandir and there's a mirror. Both are equal. So, wherever I have my divine God's idol, I have my mirror because ultimately it's a oneness that we have. Now I realize that Aham Brahmasmi is when you love, respect yourself the way you love, respect your God, or when you love, respect your God, you love, it's a oneness, and you are the part of the whole. How can you be incomplete? You are perfect, whole, and complete. And only thing, maybe we have to develop some skills to survive, or for the whatever factor, maybe for luxuries or whatever, some skills to take. Of course, when COVID happened, so I was offline work. I did my Louis Sage training, so I used to take workshops offline. But when this happened, I had to learn it. So what is this webinar? What is this Facebook Live? It was like all big now. Oh my God, it was challenging. But because I loved myself and I wanted to share this knowledge, I was into a rented apartment because this house was getting renovated. It was very basic. The walls were getting chipped, the paint and on. I just put a curtain there, the chota sa, and started my life with. I had no clue like how to do. If I see my own videos, I say, oh my God, how confident and courage I had to go through like this, and now I need to be perfect, this and all. But then that was only that love that I had for myself and the work that I do. It did not come in my way whether I was very good or very perfect. Maybe many other coaches are there. I didn't know all these stuff are there, but then so the point is, when you really look into the mirror in your eyes and say it's okay. Keep telling my clients whenever you mistake, first thing, just go in the mirror and say, okay, you're allowed to make mistakes. Because we fear making mistakes. We are not allowed because we were punished. I was never punished because I was so particular about the mistake with my sisters were getting beating like crazy. Out of all 8 of us, I have never got even this beating because I was so very alert and so very aware. I can't be wrong. Mistake to mujhe karna hi nahi hai. So imagine the pressure on the child. So now like it's okay to make mistakes. And it is so relaxing. And doesn't mean that you do not master yourself. You do not give your best to the thing that you're learning or growing. In fact, you become more sincere with fun and joy element. You come from the space of that love for yourself and love for the work that you do. And I've been a teacher. I don't know whether I mentioned this during this time. For the past 23 years, I was a teacher in high school. And then after COVID, I realized this is my space. I was doing this work part-time. Inner calling was there. Even if you do not know geometry, is perfectly fine. And like I was in a government aided school. So people from Dharavi used to come. They were like not very interested in studies. Few of them. So we as a teacher had a role that we have to get the result and send it 100% and all those things. Like big deal, let me teach them how to think, how to love it. So
amazing.
Towards the end, it was becoming like I'm teaching more of this kind of work in my classrooms. I used to get only 4 lectures a week and I had to complete a big portion. So I was like, I'm not getting aligned to this. I'm getting salary, but I'm not aligned to teach this thing. I need to be quitting or doing something which makes me aligned. So then I kind of, took VRS in 2022 after COVID when the schools reopened. I said, fine. And then I'm into full-time this. But the impact that has happened even in my live classes in the classroom, to those children of 99 batch also, they like, this word that you said and this what you did. I remember, and you never punished. Because punishment really kills you. It does not make you grow. So I feel you need to be rewarded for your good work and given feedback for whatever you're not doing good. Punishment se kuch nahi hota. So, I think
Beautiful. What an amazing, it's like you've taken us on this roller coaster ride and really, really powerful. I mean, it's so evident that, through all of this, you just kept building on your presence, building on being, connected to you, and that's only grown with time, right? And as I said, like, this is my secret, but not so secret conspiracy for people to get to know you, because that's what that's what helps in building community. Like, people now will see you in a different way. It's like if they thought they knew you, now they know you even more. And this is sort of like my way of sort of nudging the universe for more people to find you and for more people to experience what you do. So as I said, you've taken us probably on a 25-30 year or more journey of going from a place of not knowing to sort of like as a child to as a teenager to your 20s and beyond. And as you said, you were also a teacher along the way. And then, of course, in these last maybe 2-3 years, where you've been like, focused in a very specific way that, okay, now I'm just going to focus on the work. And you've been doing this full time. Like, if I sort of get a sense of that's been the journey.
Perfect.
Walk us through like that moment when you realized that this mirror is not just a mirror anymore. Right? I know you've shared, like, beautiful how you talked about your mandir and your mirror are, they like, they coexist, right?
Yeah,
and it's so funny because I'm reminded, and that's also why I do these pods. I'm reminded when I still remember this. I must have been like about 5 or 6 years old, and I would always look at the mirror, right? And my mom, I vaguely remember my mom saying, something to that, the effect of like the Adonis in no, was it not Adonis? Who was the one who fell in love with his reflection? There's one of these Greek mythologies where this character was cursed, and he was told that you will fall in love with the first person that you see, and he happened to see his reflection in a lake, right? So it was one of those references. Okay, this is like a 5-6 year old memory, meaning a 5-6 year old's memory of why are you going on looking at the mirror, right? But I digress, because like all of us have had that experience, right, where we're so fascinated, like especially of course today kids have the new version, which is the video, right? Kids are most kids are most of the time comfortable being on camera, right? Like they've grown up with it, so they don't see it as anything but an extension of themselves. But I'm talking from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago and beyond. For a lot of us, there was that self-consciousness. So there must have been that moment when you suddenly realized that you actually have this magic wand in your hand.
So it wasn't a moment. It was a part of my self-love exercises.
Correct.
Of course, I give this credit to Louise Hay's work because she kind of recommended in her book, or when we went for the coaching, that look in a mirror and do it. It wasn't comfortable. So as a child also, I had this complex right from the beginning. So look, though I wanted to look beautiful, like I think every girl wants to, but I never found myself beautiful. So I didn't want to see the mirror. So it was like whenever any photographs, rarely photographs used to be clicked, but I used to be away from it. Right. I wouldn't be a part of it because I'm not good. So why should I be in the picture? So it wasn't for me a moment, but what I realized is over the period of time as I did the work, and I did different work to really feel the joy of living. Initially the purpose was to find what I did wrong, to be getting it, so that I can validate. I blame my parents. I blame like, why am I born in this community? Or we only have to travel. And, so once I get the reason, I'll be free. Right. That was a goal. Right. But later when I realized you are responsible for whatever, okay, now what do I do? Now whom I blame? Now whom I can blame now? So because of this, I went into different modalities. I've gone through 30 plus modalities, as I told you, and mastered all of them. But I realized everything is kind of I wouldn't say superficial, but not deep without your deep connection with yourself. So every time I used to do something, I used to connect to the mirror. Every time, whenever something happened, I'll go and talk in the mirror or have a conversation with the person in the mirror and share my thoughts with her, and she would reflect back and give me the feedback and everything. So then I think, so if I want to say the aha moment or the moment that I created and then I own this method happened just very recently last year. That in fact, I would say this credit goes to Siddharth Rajshekhar, my again digital business coach. That he was like, "How do you teach people self-love?" I said, "I tell them to look in the mirror and do it." Said, "Then how do you heal them?" I said, "I tell them to look in the mirror and say this." Okay, how do you tell them to manifest? I said, "I tell them to look in the mirror and say I'm receptive." Well, the mirror is your tool. I said, "Okay." Then he said, "Tell me everything about it. Then how have you been in your journey?" So I said, "Okay, I've been doing this. He said, "Honey, why don't you create this mirror magic method in your own way, the way you have done it?" I said, "Oh my God, this was crazy." And from that time onwards, so initially I used to, call myself self-love coach because I used to promote that because that was a missing ingredient.
Correct.
But how are you doing this self-love was his question. And when I said, this is the way I do it, he said, "No, darling, you are mirror magic method creator. You are going to create." Of course, I will definitely give credit to my Louise Hay, who started this work, but that is only a chapter of it.
Correct.
She has other things also. But what I did, I took everything in the mirror, in my own way, unknowingly. Correct. Because I was always a kind of loner, thinking that I don't have friends and I couldn't be expressing. So I could, first I should write it down once since I knew that mirror is the one. And I started connecting to myself. And that's how the mirror magic method was born, I think last year. To be more precise in this format, declaring or, that way, yeah.
Nice.
So now I'm also, so I have my diamond members where I was doing that Prakriti, you're born with certain Vata, Kapha, Pitta, Prakriti. So I'm creating a course, how to balance your Prakriti in the mirror. And I'm creating a course because I've done Ho'oponopono EFT, then we have done HFT also, Ho'oponopono EFT together. So now I'm doing Ho'oponopono in the mirror. How it will be impactful. Because I have been doing everything in the mirror myself, and that's how it has been more impactful. People have been doing Ho'oponopono, people have been doing whatever, but they do not credit that thing as a big result for most of them. Because I think they're not connected. The missing ingredient is a mirror. So I'm creating most of the courses, that all the 30 modalities or maybe more that I've learned, and I'm still learning. I think I'm a lifelong learner. Mirror is not the end. It's a part of me. Like everything I do it for you. It's everything I do, it's going to be like that. Yeah.
Nice. Amazing. So people definitely now know, why you are the way you are, and it's like, why are you the person that you are? It's like, why do you do what you do? That's also maybe we can spend a little bit of time in sharing that, because you've obviously discovered that the mirror sort of became part, like, I'm calling it your magic wand, but it's like, it's been there with you through a lot of your own experiments, your journeys, the failures, the successes. It's been there as that reflective surface, right? But there must have been a moment when you realized, oh, this is not just for me. Like, truly, I'm meant to do this and meant to share this because I'm receiving so much. I know you mentioned that you've always been more of a giver than a receiver, and that shift happened at some point, which we'll come to in a second, when you had that realization that, no, I also want to be a receiver. We'll come to that. But in the context of coaching, like when or healing or mentoring, however, whatever frame you want to use, but there would have been a moment when you suddenly realized, oh, honey, you're doing this for yourself, but why not, offer this or give this to people? I'm sure you would have had that one moment where it just kind of made sense, right? Because your entire journey, it sounds like initially you were wanting to know why it happened to you and who could I like point fingers at. It's because of you, right? We've all been there, right? In some form. But this is that part of the journey where you suddenly went, no. It's about giving in a very powerful way. So walk us through that story. Like what was, or that journey? What made that happen?
Yeah, so I wouldn't again say it was just not a point. It was a journey, of course. So I think when you are full, you all automatically overflow.
Right.
You don't have to kind of think of doing. Initially what I was doing was serving kind of from an empty cup. Of course, in the need of little love and acceptance, because that's a basic need, human need, But later on, when I discovered, that was in 2014, 2007. So 2007, I started with graphology. Okay. So when I went to a graphologist, so Harmohan Singh Batra ji, he's from Mulund, Mumbai only, live I went to him. And when I did my handwriting analysis with him, he said something which I can't share now, but that immediately I was in tears. I was like, oh my God. I said, okay, you read my handwriting so well that I was kind of covering. I didn't know it would be so very open. Now tell me, how do I come out of it? Because I never believed in analysis. I believed in therapy. Like if you analyze, anyhow, I'm living this thing. How is it helping me?
Correct.
Tell me, what do I do about it? And then we went with the graphotherapy, and I loved it. And I changed the particular strokes, the way we write. Of course, you must be doing that modality also. And so I felt, oh my, and then I was a teacher. I was seeing students and writing. I said, oh my God. I mean, I could do so much for them. You just can't keep it to yourself,
Yeah.
And maybe the person that I was always giving, maybe by that nature, or maybe divine wanted me to be his instrument to support people. I think somewhere, why do we work on ourselves so much? Because we don't work. Divine chooses us to work. We feel we are doing it. All these stories, it's a drama of Bhagwan. He's creating all this drama. He just polishes us to help his more people, to empower them. It is his conspiracy. I totally get this now, okay?
Right.
So, and that's why he chooses these people who are this kind, and particularly gives them some challenges so that they come. You understanding? That's what
100%.
I understood being into that spirituality.
Right.
Why this happened? Divine wanted me to be here talking to you or reaching out to more people.
Yeah.
So that it has to have some story, Why will you suddenly get up and why doesn't my husband, why doesn't my other sisters and all? It didn't happen to you. Because I was the chosen one.
Yeah. Yes.
I had to do this work. And I say it's not simply you're working on yourself, you're doing the God's work. When I was doing initially on myself, trying to figure out the solution for myself, I felt I'm doing for myself. But I know all the time I was doing God's work.
Right.
Because when I heal, my family is healed.
Yes.
Like I'm breaking the bonds of that, whatever I had gone through, patriarchy and all those things. My daughter has amazing relationship with me and with everybody around.
Right.
I didn't have to teach her.
Yeah.
I just had to be. It happened. And the generational healing that happened, the blame and the thing that was running around, now I totally love and respect and appreciate it, and I have a lot of gratitude for my parents and my siblings and everything. Otherwise, it could have passed.
Yeah.
It is such a deep work.
Yeah.
Right? So if I say I did, he has made me do it, honestly. And then there's a graphology, as I said. So that happened. And Emily, I just go and tell children, do this. In the staff room, I change everybody's signature. Come on, do this with us. Like, it can't be. Then when I got Louise's book in 2008, immediately after graphology, when I changed, I found her book. Because now I was getting open. But writing itself was depressive. It was going down slope. If you know a bit about it, you go down slope, you go depressive, you go up slope, you go to ego, all that stuff. So Louise happened, then my Amma Bhagwan happened, I mean, everything led to the other thing, because one time the missing part happened, and there was no blame to anybody else or myself. Now I'm responsible for me. Yes, I am, but I'm not guilty about it. Now I take the power and now I create my beautiful life. The life really changed 360 degrees, and I couldn't keep this to myself. I had to share. So I shared this book with everybody I know. All my siblings, all my colleagues, all my friends. my daughter's friends and all, classmates used to come. I would tell them, okay, you can do this, say in the mirror, I love you, do this thing and that thing. So I think coaching Kida was there from bachpan se, of helping and supporting.
Yes.
It doesn't happen accidentally. I don't think so. That you suddenly, because coaching industry is booming, let's become a coach. I don't think so that works. It has to have this grounding way, or the feeling of helping and giving naturally, whether you have it or you don't have it, you just want to give.
Yeah.
Whether the reason was to get some love and acceptance, but then you had I know other polio people, student, because I went for operation in Haji Ali Hospital. Are you from Bombay? No, you're from Bangalore.
I'm familiar with Bombay. Yeah, I've stayed there for a couple of years.
So I was operated after 12th, and they were like all type of polio patients and all that, but all were not feeling this way.
Correct.
They were into their own world or whatever they were into. So what I believe, that was just a reason. I thought this was the reason, but it was already God's plan.
Right.
That's what I believe it.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel how much, because I went round and round different things. Of course, I am totally grateful to everything I learned, to every teacher who taught me. Everything led me to the next level and the next level. I wouldn't say this was waste or that was a waste. Amazing thing. But only thing, I was more seeking to the depth of it. I wanted to be going to the causeless love and causeless joy. I did not want to stuck only when my numbers are fine, only when my cards are fine. Then otherwise, I didn't want to be like, even if my cards are not fine, I want to be happy. That was my calling. So, where were we? So, the teaching part was naturally inside me, I think. So, I wouldn't say there was one moment that I decided I have to.
Right.
And this is what I realize now. Like, I do my daily satsangs also at night free. One is Dikshas that I call. We transfer our states and we give healing. We pray together. Nice. And I teach people how to connect to their divine easily. You don't have to fear your God. God is not judging you. I know so much about God. Of course, still there is so much more to know. He's unknowable. But how much ever little I know, people do not know, I feel. And they need to know that they all deserve to be loved by themselves, because God does not judge you. So why are you judging yourself? So I think this one message is very liberating, because there are many places. So if you go to astrology, these stars are not in the right place. I was Manglik also. And I say, thankfully, I was Manglik. I didn't get married after 10th standard. All my sisters above me, as soon as they finished 10th, marriage. I was Manglik, so luckily I didn't get the proposal of that. So, Sade Sati hai, ya ye hai, wo doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is your connection with yourself and your divine. That's it. If you are totally aligned to that thing.
Yeah.
And the third pillar, as I told you, the 3 pillars that I work on. One is self-love. Second is divine alignment. Knowing God, that God loves you. He's unconditionally loving you. Do not fear Him. Just love Him or her, whatever you call. Third is service. You can't be loving yourself. You can't be connected to God and just sit and do nothing. You have to serve. And only when you serve, you grow. Otherwise, you might have everything in your life. But if you're not serving, if you're not contributing, you will feel कि कुछ तो missing है. Maybe you're loving yourself, you're taking care of yourself, you're doing puja, agarbatti, everything you're doing. But if you are not giving back, that fulfillment does not happen. So in my community, day one they join, from whichever background they are, you need to start serving. You need to tell each other, like, how can I access the course or whatever it is. Little thing, or just show a thumbs up, show some love. Anybody asks question, because serving in any way, I'm not saying donate a lot of money or teach whatever you have or give away your thing. But come from the space of, I also want to contribute, because this is also a basic need. Everyone's, if you do not, you feel empty inside and you're searching, what am I? For me, missing ingredient was self-love. Those 2 pillars were there. If somebody, something or the out of 3, one thing will be missing, it will be imbalanced. So,
Beautiful. So, slight, not detour, but we'll take a side step, because now we live in a world. So, it's like if anybody was feeling lost, on their journey, hearing you for this, like 2/3 of the way, and they listen to one thing you've said, or they just, go with the flow with what you've shared today, I know it's going to change the way they're feeling inside. It's going to literally like rewire whatever they've been telling themselves, right? Because what you've shared is something that you've drawn from decades of testing, and not failure as much as you're testing, you're getting feedback, you're testing, you're getting feedback. And through each of those moments, you've been refining and refining and refining and refining to the point where, as you said, now it's more of the being, right? Like that's who you are now. As I said, now we're taking a slight sidestep, because the flip side of COVID is that today we have technology that is very easily accessible, right? Whether it is someone's phone, whether a laptop, every laptop pretty much comes with some kind of camera, and you have Facebook, even if you're not very hi-fi, technology savvy, tech savvy, whatever, everybody has the ability to be able to reach out. In your journey, if you could share, like, what have you learned when it comes to this whole thing of, finding your digital sense, your digital self? Because I have seen this, I've also experienced this, that sometimes when people, whether they've been told to or whether they are in that process of testing out, they end up getting lost. So you talked about the mirror as a way to ground yourself. I mean, that's what I'm taking away. For a lot of people, when they have to project, they end up losing themselves, right? And so you can say, like, they say, oh, this video is cringe, or like these are like expressions that people use. My reading of that is, it's like they've actually, for that period of time, they've lost themselves. So they've not been able to stay connected to who they are, right? So from your experiences, if you could share, what was that journey to get to this point where today, you have a digital presence, you built this over a period of time. As you said, pre-COVID, it was always offline. Then COVID happened, and then by 22, you were like, okay, I think the signs are very clear. It's time for me to focus on this fully, right? So obviously, you've been through an arc. You've been through a journey to get to this point where there's a confidence in when you talk about, be online and do these things and make yourself available. So can you share that journey with us of how you went from that avatar of probably never ever thought of doing video like this to today it's second nature? I'm guessing you don't even really think about it. It's just, whether it's online, offline, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Right?
Again, I would say in 2015, I went to Thailand for my Helio Life coach journey. So there was a last day where we received the certification, and there we were supposed to project our future.
Right.
Okay. So I had no idea. You just come from that space of energy that now you're ready to impact many people and teach people to love themselves and heal their life and all those stuff. So I went. I did not even have my website. I did not even think of it. I thought I'll open up a healing center or something like that. Online was never in my thought. I did not have a computer also that time. I think I did. I don't remember. Okay. So what I declared, I don't know exact words. What I meant was, I'm having a global presence, and I'm healing the entire planet. Right? How, when, with the kind of work that I do, impacting many, many lives. Of course, number I did not say, but I clearly mentioned that I'm having a global presence. So being in the offline work, it wouldn't be possible at all. I mean, unless you have lots of the way Helio Life has spread across over the period of time. But I think that seed was sown in 2015.
Wow.
And that's how, when this webinar and all those things happened, I could kind of connect. I said, okay, I had already sown a seed there.
Wow.
And this is the best option to reach out globally. So I have my clients from all across the globe, right? Across, all continents, and how they came to my my space, I do not know. So somehow, and that time I was not even doing the ads or nothing, during the COVID time when I just went live, when I understood. So people just jumped in they kind of connected and they kind of bought my stuff, and they are still now connected. And
Nice.
more often I am globally present. Of course, I wouldn't say the number is huge, but the goal is that. Goal is to bring the golden age, which is to bring peace, love, and joy inside your heart. My cat. Okay. So golden age for me is to be peaceful, joyful, and aligned within. And once you do this, automatically vibrate those things, and there is a golden age outside. So for my purpose and mission is to bring that golden age. And I think nothing more powerful and fast than the internet that we are using now, so that we can impact more and more people, reach more and more people from the comfort of your house. You know, when I used to conduct offline event, it used to be challenging to book a hotel, logistics and everything. And plus you are conducting, you need to do your grounding work, and it is, I mean, if somebody
been there.
But this is like, take it, I have a podcast with Rahul, 5:55, you log in and you're on.
That's it.
You just have to put some makeup to be presentable.
Right.
That's it. You don't have to, you know, and that becomes so fast. So since morning, I've recorded 2-3 YouTube videos already. And then, I mean, so much work is done. Imagine in offline, I would be only working on one particular thing.
That's right.
So I think the seeds have been sown. Again, I say, God chooses you. So whatever you're doing is, God chooses you. I strongly feel that it cannot happen by our own decision alone. I said together. You need to decide that you want to give or you want to do something. And God will figure it out of 8 billion people. This is the one, my baby is going to be shining in the world and helping my other people who do not know how to love themselves, who do not know how to impact.
Right.
And I think I answered your question rightly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay. And what I love about the way you answer the question is, you've tapped into something that is truly you, meaning that you're talking from a space of energy rather than, you know, sort of tactical. Okay, I did this first and then I did this first. Maybe that would be like a part 2 where I say, okay, you know, so honey, like walk us through like a, you know, step-by-step journey of, you know, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you why.
That's kind of challenging for me.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like you chose intuitively to share something that is true to you, to your journey. Where, I mean, did you even plan to suddenly say, yeah, you know, 2015 was where it started. It just came, right? And then you're like, in 2020, I made the connection. And then I started to do my Facebook lives. And then one thing led to another. And here I am. Like, these are the things that I'm doing today. And that is sometimes, that's all that people need to hear. Not the, you know, the frame by frame, ye karo, webinar ko aise karo, live ko aise karo, YouTube video, do it like this, and so on and so forth. Yes, there is a time and place for all of that. Right. But what I love about the way you shared it is, a lot of this has to do with self-belief. A lot of this has to do with, as you said, your grounding tool, that when you are able to connect with you and recognize that you're meant to be here, then whoever, if you're struggling, the person who is meant to come in, you know, not rescue you, but show you, be your, you know, your teacher or your mentor at that moment for that particular thing, they'll anyway show up. Kaam kuch nahi karna hai. It is, in that sense, it's just to show up as you and recognize who you are. Right? That's why, like I said, I could have said, no, tell me, like, tactically, what did he do? Today, we live in an age of abundance, literally, where today there are like hundreds and hundreds of ways to get that information, including, and I'll say it anyway, literally in the age of AI, where GPT. I'm sure you know this, and we are in that sense, you know, kindred spirits in that, you know how long it would have taken to create a workshop.
Correct.
Today, how long does it take? Less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, you just type, give me this thing, those strategies, everything is ready.
It gives you like a complete, give me minute by minute, hour by hour, you know, day one and day 2 format, and so on and so forth. And literally in a matter of keystrokes, even if you're making mistakes, even if you're typing, you know, horrible English, it doesn't matter. Right? Because there is this sentient being, if you want to call it that is able to read through our mistakes and say, okay, this is what you're saying. Okay, here's the, right?
Correct.
That's why? All that's the easy stuff today.
Hmm.
But what you've talked about is the actual stuff. Right? I mean, that's the work that you're doing.
See, here is the place that I still need to work. I still keep saying, like, if somebody asks me logically, tell me, I am little not clear. It just happened. I do not know what step and what it happened. I mean,
Yeah.
So even with my people, I think I miss on that step-by-step guidance and all, because it is not a step-by-step guidance.
Exactly.
It is basically where you are, you lead to the next step
Yes.
and allow it to happen.
Yes.
My suggestion, I just tell them, allow it to happen.
Yes. Exactly.
Just be open. You are here for a reason. If you come for my
Yes.
workshop, I know there is a reason. You're not randomly selected. These are not just marketing words.
Yes.
These are the truth. And if you resonate with me, please join my company.
Yes.
If you do not, of course, there are many other ways. Maybe when next you'll be resonating, that's
Correct.
perfectly fine.
Correct.
So when I'll tell you my biggest challenge, when I have to create a presentation, it takes hell lot of my stuff and energy. I can't be flowing. Okay. If I off the PPT and I start something,
Yeah.
I'll go on and on.
Yeah.
And once I said, okay, we were here, and then
Yeah.
it is.
But that's your style, right? That's
this is challenging for me to go with this stuff.
Sense that in time you will probably, when we have a part 2, maybe 6 months or a year, and I love doing this, especially with guests who, like, I know there's something so, like, they're on the path, right? Like, you can tell, and I'm sure you've come across people, like, you just listen to them for a few minutes and you're like, okay, I know this person is truly on the path. Some are searching, some are truly, like, you're meeting them at the point where they've gone beyond the searching, right? So that you know that, okay, yeah, they're like, there is that silver thread that's leading them, right? And what will be interesting is, and this is something I myself have been through, so that's why I can see the reflection of it, in that what I call it as, it's intuitive marketing. So you are drawn and you will be led to whatever it is that you're meant to do, that is truly you, right? It's not the format, it's not the formula that is going to dictate what you should be saying. Ultimately, 6 months, 1 year later, when you retrace the steps, you'll be like, yeah, actually I followed the format, but you did it from a place of guidance that didn't come from other human beings, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, when you said it like this, I'm like, yeah, okay. I completely get where you're at, right? So let's maybe do this. 2 things very, very important. One is, if you could share, the role of community. One, in your own journey. Like, this is more like from a philosophy point of view. Like, what do you really believe, or how has your journey been when it comes to community, like having community? And the second part of that question is, if you could share a little bit about, like, what can someone see on the inside in your community, like when you are with your people, like you mentioned the satsang, that's one of the things that you do. But typically, so one is what role community has played in your life, and 2 is, of course, the kind of community that you're building and what happens there, and how do people grow together.
Thank you. So as I told you in the beginning, I had people at home, but I still couldn't connect, right? Because everybody had their own problems. Correct. And I was too bad to share my things. My inner dialogue will be, why will they listen to me with my own people? So again, the community part, really, even in the college time, I had friends, but I could hardly express. I used to be only giving. I used to be available for them, but never ask what I wanted or share what am I feeling. So this happened after my marriage, when I started going to satsangs of Brahma Gyan. Dada Lakshmi from, they are no more. So over there, so we had a teacher who used to lead satsangs, read the script and explain Q&A kind of a thing. Again, I can connect it when I watch them doing this Vani and all. I want to do this and earn a lot of money also. They were doing it. I didn't know the coaching part. I didn't know coaching existed. But kind of what they were doing was that, that was a group coaching.
Yeah.
Now I can understand that. They're sitting on the seat and then we are sitting in the hall. And sometimes if you do not understand, we would take appointments and we'll meet one-to-one and have one-to-one coaching.
That's right.
So for personal problem.
That's right.
Now when I'm talking to you, I kind of relate it. It was there in a different form. Satsang is a form of group coaching, I realize now, right? So over there, I found, I had those questions and I did get some answers. But as I told you, answers, I was very, very sincere. I got a lot of answers. I applied them. It made a difference in my life. Not that it did not. But only thing, the joy and the love element happened when I added that self-love and it's okay to make mistakes.
Nice.
So over there also, there were like, shoulds and if you do this, then this, if you do. So but then else for a lot of like, everybody has a formality, like, the structure. So that you kind of feel bonded. And I feel
like
what
program.
I loved. Yeah.
If then else.
Yeah, if then else. Basic, we used to do in computers, right? So what I wanted was freedom. Even though I follow if but then else.
Of course.
But I wanted it my way.
Yeah.
If somebody tells me do not eat non-veg, give me the reason why.
Yeah.
When I went to Satya Sai Baba, I was selected for some, out of 40 college, one of the essay writing, and I was taken for the journey there. So there I had a group where I had discussed, So whenever I found these spiritually higher people, when they were in higher places, they were conducting satsang, and I was like just a part of it. So of course I looked up to them. So that is how the community kind of a thing came into existence. Of course I didn't know it's called a community, but that is where my doubts, my growth happened. Though books and things were there, but this is where this happened. And when I joined my Heal Your Life community, so when I did my course in Thailand, first I did in Bangalore, and then we made a WhatsApp community happen quite later. We had emailed me, but email me very difficult it was. But later on, like during COVID, it became more powerful.
Yes.
Right? So then everybody sharing how are you setting your workshops, who needs this, and I miss the music, which one do you use, or what are, we are available. So I'll say in Bombay, if you want to conduct workshop, this is a place, or if somebody says, okay, send participants there. So, everybody's there to help each other. So when I conducted my first workshop, I just said, I need an assistant, and we were allowed to take assistant. Those are Heal Your Life teachers. You can't take them outside. So more than happy, people are willing to help. So somebody from Pune drove all the way. He spent 2 days in the hotel, like on his own expenses, and he assisted me in a technical. He was an engineer already, and I was like easy with the meditation part. So that is how I realized the power of community of coaches that we have, and then of course now we have ILH, so where we have amazing coaches together. So now I've developed ILH Mumbai community where we kind of. What is happening and how is it happening? So you are not alone. You have similar kind of people who are doing the same kind of work. So now I realize everybody has, I never go to kitty parties, because I don't align to that thing. I have not gone to movie from past 3 years. I mean, maybe more. Only when my daughter Ranbir, she's a Ranbir fan, she'll insist and then something I'll go. But not that I didn't like movies. I used to watch movies a lot earlier, but now I have much more work to do. I want to create movies for people now. I want to create the structures and all. No? So everybody has their own community. I joined Pinkathon some years back. I think it was pre-COVID, just to challenge myself, even with the polio, I can do a marathon. So there was a community there. So every morning and evening, we used to meet for our practices to build our muscles and everything. So I think community is super important, and it's been there. It's like now we as coaches are building up in a structured way, calling it as a community. I didn't know it was called a community earlier. Kitty group hai, kitty group hai, uska group hai, business people hai, VNI, Now I understand. It's been there. I think even... what do you say, Raja Loka, during Krishna's time, all the, when Jesus was there, he had his own group of people leading them. So I think community, for us human beings, cannot be living in isolation. And we need people. We are social beings. And more than people, we need like-minded people. Out of that group, one needs to be little more knowledgeable, or at least few so that they can approach and get guidance so that they can reach her. And these people have their own community to rise up. So that's how we build up and, pull everybody up in the journey. And whatever we are doing, it could be shopping, it could be makeup, it could be education, it could be what we are doing at coaching industry. Yeah. So that's how I entered into satsang and all, became more community. And for my community, how is it working? So from day one, and thanks to again Siddharth Rajshekar to build a strong foundational code of honor. So we are all responsible, that I always say that, with a lot of self-love that I add, because I don't forget to add self-love, because that was missing, and that took a lot of time for me to be what I am today. Then gratitude, then all these things, supporting each other, contributing, as I told you, super important. Honoring yourself, taking care of yourself. How much ever you do for others, first thing is to take care of yourself. So these are code of honors. Everybody needs to follow, respect each other, be kind to each other. These are the few, 8 to 9 code of honor. And it's like, though I have a smaller number, like 25, 30 people at this moment, but the community, the way it's building up is so amazing. I'm really happy and grateful that this is getting done. It's like, the seeds have been sown and it's just flowering and it is supporting. So even if I'm not there, people are supporting each other. They are giving, and there's a buddy system. So every week the buddy changes so that each one, each other and all those stuff. So, and one more thing, what I find these days, even though we have a lot of people, a lot of internet stuff, social media, but the more we have, the more lonely the people are feeling. So this community helps you to have somebody on your side. Of course, I tell them, no matter whether somebody is available or no, you have your mirror. That's a bigger community. You and yourself in the mirror. If you do not connect here, you cannot connect anywhere. So first, this is your dharma. Not even any, this, you're born for a certain thing. You're born to connect yourself. Otherwise, फिर से आना पड़ेगा. If you don't identify who am I, how will the awakening happen? How will the enlightenment happen? How will the other journey happen? You've not identified yourself. Uske baad, if you feel, I look at it, I don't know what to do, ask. So my first is always connect yourself. That's a community. You and yourself.
Amazing. So I would be remiss, and like I said, we're not operating on it has to be, this podcast has to be under 1 hour or whatever, right? So there is a very important question that's been kind of in, like a preparation. It's like well-made food. It's like just been getting, it's like getting ready. This is that part which, as I was sharing even recently with a couple of guests, it's like, this is the thing that I had missed for a while. Like today, we're at a point where we've done more than 50 podcasts, right? But this one question I had missed asking. And so I'm going to do that now, which is share with us what has been your journey of mentors. The reason why I say that is because a lot of times people, for whatever their reasons are, people, may not openly share who all have been part of their journey, especially when it comes to platforms. People are not always very forthcoming to say, like, these are the people that showed up in my life and I've had these moments that have led me to where I am today. So whenever you're ready, you can share with us, like, who all are these amazing people that showed up in your life?
So I told you, I've been into so many modalities, so many teachers. I'm like, the list is, and I do pray for each of our mentors in my prayer, especially Guruvar when I have a Thursdays. Every day is a reminder for my gurus. Right from my parents, I start, because they were the mentors. Directly, they did not sit with me.
Sure.
I don't even remember my mother's voice. I keep telling this, because she's been suppressed women, and that is one of the reasons I'm doing the work. Because she didn't love and she didn't tell me how to do it and herself, and she didn't express. So it just happened to me, right? But then by her being, the way she was giving and sacrificing and all, that has come naturally to me, right? And that's a beautiful quality, which is missed in these kind of generation. though suffering was there, but then this is important ingredient. So I would definitely say my mother has taught me, and she has been my mentor. My father, very hardworking man. We used to take 40 kgs bag to travel and get money so that we can go to school, have some food. Very hardworking, and I've not seen him taking holidays. So hard work has come through him. The friendships and all those things, and being there for each other happened with my siblings. Where now I feel, of course, initially as a child, I never realized that, but now we are there for each other. I say, even though our parents could not give the properties behind, they could not leave, because how could they? One person earning and so many, but what they left as a legacy was 8 children. There was a point of time where I used to feel, why 8 children? Why not 1 and 2? Contributing to the population, not providing enough and all those stuff. But now I say, this is the bestest gift they went and gave,
Wow.
Because now we are there for each other. Parents are not there, but they are living in us, in my brother, in my sister, like so many of us. And we don't need anybody outsider when we have events, whether Diwali or Raksha Bandhan or whatever. So the community happened in, with our siblings, that we are there for each other. We are not alone in our own house, not only for only joys, for weddings and all, but for other things also. So you learn, these things. Of course, my school teachers, my college teachers, and my colleagues and friends and mentors. If I say, oh my God, there's so many. So there was Rupal Sumaria, where I learned from tarot reading. All these are skills that you need to, how to, even though that alignment was there, but how to channelize that. Louise is my next door. I always, again, her picture is always, as I kept, it's my God's picture and my Louise's picture in my mirror. It's because she's the one that she filled in the gap that was missing. Then I have Nishank, Nishank and Priyanka were my numerology gurus. I say I'm forgetting name because 20 years ahead I did this automatic writing. Priyanka. She's left her work. She doesn't do this work anymore. But I totally love her. Payal Mukherjee. So Payal Mukherjee was my automatic writing teacher who taught us to channel and write, the answer that you get. Then all my gurus that I've been to, as I told you, Satya Sai Baba, Ravi Shankar Ji, or Inner Engineering Sadhguru that I have done it. And I've been to Brahmagyan, not Brahma Kumari, but Brahmagyan, Dada Lakshmi, Dada Rani, Dada. There's so many sants. We call them sant, right? So all these gurus, oh my God, I don't know how to kind of express my gratitude to them. And now my Amma Bhagwan, all dasas, those who are the messengers of my divine Amma Bhagwan, and all the leaders that are leading us to do the seva, all of them. And of course, my digital guru, Siddharth Rajshekhar. Then I also went to Gopal Krishna, and I went to Amit. I used to call him Dada. He kind of taught me how to create structure around the program, but I took quite some time because I was not able to fit into the structure kind of a thing. So that's what I became very slow in picking up all these things, but they did contribute amazing things. Whatever were missing, how to do Facebook ads and all those things. Now I have Manjunath, who's doing my Facebook ad. Along with that, he's guiding me, this is maybe missing in your webinar. So now, then Disha Mewani Mohite, she's my one-to-one coaching mentor who teaches us how to do high tickets. So now most of the mentors now are my business coaches or marketing coaches. And my divine knowledge is from my Amma Bhagwan, Sri Krishna Ji and Sri Preeta Ji. So where we go for mystical processes, tapping into abundance of the divine, going to the very higher processes, past lives and all those. So that happens. My spiritual journey now goes to only Amma Bhagwan. We go for deeper processes. We go for deep homas. So the clearing of all that conscious pattern that you can't do even with the mirror, There is some restriction, some level of programming we can do it. There are other levels of programming which are meant to be done by the divine. So there I keep going. So I must have missed. I'm really sorry, but there are so many of them, and I really count my partner as my guru, who taught me so much of patience. To be with this, like, oh God, let me be kind. My daughter, to be friendly, and we have never have a relation of a mother. I never felt I had mothered her. She was always been beautiful child, and that is how she taught me fashion sense and all, the latest one. She's just 23, so I pick up the latest trend from her.
Right.
So like there are so many, my friends, of course, who are there to support and who are there to be, when I was taking VRS, it wasn't an easy choice. It was a comfortable, high-paying job with 6 months holidays. We get Diwali vacation, May vacation, Christmas vacation. Come half day or 3 o'clock, you're back home.
Right.
They were like, why are you leaving? You can do it together. I said, no, I want to do this full time. I'm not doing justice to it. And they said, okay, if you do that, we stand by you. But they were concerned about my security or it is challenging when you start a new business. It is challenging. But the thing is that you learn from your friends that you guide them correctly. But then at the same time, when the friend is sure about her own thing, be with them. And now they're happy that I took this decision. Initially, they were a little worried. Are you doing well? So many people, and of course, so many YouTubers, so many books that I've read. Dr. Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, Abraham Hicks, Neil Donald Walsh, Matt Kahn, and oh my God, I might forget Robert Holden. Then so many courses I have done. Vishal Lakiani, and the part of his thing, the life book. I mean, I've done so many. So I do not know. I might really miss, I'm sure.
Rahul, I'll tell you one thing here.
Yeah.
They've heard you.
Jack Canfield. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what now the expert secret I'm reading, Russell Brunson. So these people have contributed in an amazing way. Amazing way to take you, to take me to the next level. And now the next level is to how can I be a better contributor? How can I give in a more easier, I am where I am in my own, not a structured journey, but not all of them are like that. So you need to be giving them their way so that they come to the path. And what I took 30 years, they might take 2 years or 3 years or maybe less. So structuring, that is what I'm learning now. And so amazing. Osho is my leader. Yeah. Oh God. I know. Follow him. I followed him because it's more of freedom, more of just be who you are. Whatever comes, just accept it. There's no conditioning on your sexual life also, Otherwise, it used to be a big taboo to me. Even if I say sex, it used to be like I'm committed a sin.
Right.
It was such deeply programmed to me. But thanks to his work, and his reading that I did, Tantra, Vaibhav Tantra, that book that I read, and his courses also I did. So that kind of, led me to be more free and to be liberal. And so that's why I can easily create that non-judgmental space in my community. You talk anything, it's fine. It's just fine. Nobody will feel, they'll say, honey, that's okay. And they'll feel, oh, it was okay. I was only feeling it was that. Because the way I have read so many people and realized and understood, Anita Mujani. Okay, so, Life After Death, the book Dying to Be Me, that is there. So many that I have read and going beyond the realms of this planet Earth, it's just specks of dust.
True.
And we think, oh my God, I did this sin. And we carry that burden. Oh God, I just wonder even if I don't know whether I can say this, but then the thing was so narrow thinking, narrow way of living. But when you read them, when you follow these people, or when you learn from them, taking their mentorship or coaching, or through the book, or through the courses, or really being with them, it kind of opens up your mind. It kind of, and when your mind opens, your consciousness is raising high. You become non-judgmental. You're more accommodating. You're more accepting. First to yourself. Because as I say, you say in the mirror, it's okay. Because it's really okay. I said, as long as you've not murdered anybody, You've not killed anybody. You've not hurt on purpose. Anjane mein to hota, you really do not know how much ever we are trying to be amazing people, but you do not know what's going on in their head. How are they taking it? But then knowingly you're not hitting anybody, you're not abusing anybody, you're not taking advantage of anybody. You're beautiful people. Celebrate that. That's what I keep telling in my community. Baki choti moti mistakes. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. So beautiful to hear, as I said, not just your journey, but how you've, gotten to be who you are today. And that was the promise when we started, that for people, for those of you who've been watching, you now know Hani at a much deeper level. And, this has been your opportunity to connect with her. Of course, all your links will be shared, and, whether it is a present program, whether it's at the time when they find you, there are links that will lead them to whatever is your offering at that time that you've created. So one thing I can definitely say is that, I wish you all the best on your journey and what you're doing and what you will be doing in the future. And as I like to always remind myself and remind others, picture to abhi baki hai, right?
And I want to add one more thing before we kind of... You can't be creating yourself all alone. It's a work of many people.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have, shed their blood and sweat to create something like I have been created. If I say I am the one, it's totally bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not true.
True.
It's because somebody had written some beautiful work, that one line that picked up and that changed the perspective. Some mentor who heard me non-judgmentally, and then the things happen. Now I see divine connection and yourself now, but your mentors play amazing role. The kind of books you read, the kind of mentors you choose, the kind of the content you watch or listen. And so many YouTubers I forgot to mention. Oh my God. They're amazing people. Just when you are into your low and you just turn it on, universe is guiding us through some piece of content there. And those creators, now we are creative, we know how much work it takes. Not easy. It just looks 5 minutes video, 1 minute shorts, but there is a lot of work behind it. There is a lot of experience behind it. And a lot of technical things behind it. And I thank you for asking this question. I'm just still into thinking that, okay, oh my God, how can I forget this? How can I forget that? I'm just internally saying thank you, because, and when we say, somebody said I'm a self-made man, it is impossible.
That's one of those trick of word statements. There is no there's actually no self-made. As we know, we are made up of all of this.
Yeah.
Right? The ups, the downs, the misses, the hits, and everything in between.
Absolutely.
And all the people that we know and people that we don't even know.
Yeah.
Right? Somewhere, something or somebody said something which echoed back to us, which has shaped us into who we are. So,
absolutely.
Right?
And that makes us feel grounded and humbled.
Yeah.
And we need to be, because we are nothing by ourselves. We are nothing.
Yeah.
We are who we are because somebody has worked hard for us.
So
knowingly and somehow. So my message to all of you, respect the work of people who are working for you directly, indirectly. So important. So
beautiful.
Thank you for asking this question. It's so important.
Thank you for just being so present to your experiences and just sharing so openly. So firstly, Hani, thank you for taking the time today to just be here in your presence and share so freely, so openly, and so in the moment. And I know for people who are watching you, people who are literally, whether they're watching right now or they're watching this as a video, you know that there's something that you've connected to Hani about or with or for. And so this is sort of a way for you to connect to Hani deeper. And as I said, obviously her links are available in the video that you'll see below in the comment section. You can reach out to her, follow her on her social handles and engage. And I'm sure, whatever questions you have, whatever journey that you're on, you will definitely benefit from honey, and of course, not to forget the magic wand, your mirror as well. So, right. So, thank you once again, honey. And as I always like to remind our viewers that, beyond everything else, remember to live your purpose. God bless. And of course, we will be back with more. And once again, honey, thank you for taking the time. It's been an absolute pleasure listening and coming along on your journey and getting to know you better. Like I said, that's my secret conspiracy, that now I know another kindred spirit. And, I'm also looking forward to how life is funny like that, where there's no accidents, right? So we were meant to meet the way we did right now. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what 2025 has in store for all of us, because we're all here to do the same work, right? And there are lots of us out there that are waiting to hear the message that we keep receiving. Like sometimes we talk about it as downloads. So I know that the time is right and there's more to come, right? So with that, of course, thank you one more time as I go to my channels.
So may I also express my gratitude for being such a wonderful host, for giving that space that I can be. And I mean, it just allowed it to flow because it wasn't that structured. And I was very happy when you told me initially that let it happen. There's no time constraint.
Yeah.
So it became, as I told you, freedom is my word. And so thanks for doing what you're doing. And it is such an amazing way of doing it. Need to learn a lot from you. I'll definitely host a podcast with you on my channel too.
Definitely look forward to that.
I would love to know more about you as well. Such a beautiful person you are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
Thank
and
you.
of
God
course,
bless you.
For a moment, as we just pause our streams, since we live in technology land. So with that, we are now officially going to wrap this pod. So thank you once again, honey. And we pause here. Wish you all the best in all that you're doing. And in a moment, it's going to pause.